What is up, guys? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're covering some more r/am I the butthole. If you're new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. And that is only if you enjoy the content, of course. And a huge thank you to the members of our channel. As always, you're truly appreciated. And yesterday we had another new member. We had Brenda Irwin. Thank you so much for joining us. It really does mean the world to me. I know I say it every time, but I'm always shocked when someone else joins. And with that being said, let's get in to today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story comes from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for going out to eat with my uncle after the rest of my family disagreed with my restaurant choice? I, female 21, and currently live with my uncle and his family while I attend university. In my family, it's tradition for everyone to invite out their family for their birthday. The person celebrating their birthday pays. My birthday was yesterday, and luckily restaurants here have already opened up. About a week in advance, I chose a Moroccan couscous restaurant and made a reservation. I briefly mentioned it to the rest of the family at dinner, but I don't think most of them were listening. 2 days ago I reminded everybody where we were going. Everybody except for my uncle started to complain about the choice. My extremely picky cousin, 17, apparently hates Moroccan food, even though I don't think he's ever tried it. My aunt is uncomfortable with going to that kind of restaurant. My other cousin, 26, is a vegan and didn't think he would be able to eat a lot of things, and his girlfriend didn't want to eat there because she's on a raw food diet. My other cousin is apparently on a diet and didn't want to go somewhere where she could get a salad. It didn't really bother me that they disagreed with my choice, but what bothered me was that they hadn't even tried the food or looked at the menu, but already didn't want to go. They asked me to change my choice and instead that we could go to a nearby restaurant that they go to every week and that I don't really like. I refused and said they just didn't have to come. Only my uncle came with me and we went to the restaurant yesterday, which I'm happy about because I know the rest of the family would have done nothing but complain. It was delicious and it was nice eating with an actually adventurous person for once. Now the rest of the family is angry at us because birthday meals usually include the whole family and they think it's inconsiderate of us to have eaten without them. I think it's their fault for not even wanting to try it. Am I the arsehole? Edit, thank you for everyone for your judgments. I saw a lot of people confused about paying when it's your birthday. Where I'm from, it's the custom, not just in my family but everywhere. I think it's a nice custom. That way no guest worries about not being able to pay, and it's nice to be able to pay for family and friends to have a nice meal. I'm not sure I agree with that. Paying for my whole family, damn man. The comments ain't too spicy on this one, so no pun intended. So I'm not going to read those out. One of the initial thoughts that jumped out in my head was that they're going to a Moroccan restaurant and they sort of like lots of plant-based foods in there, so there should be lots of vegan options and things like that for diets, all sorts of ranges, right? Or am I mistaken here? You guys will have to let me know in the comments below and don't forget to vote in that top right hand corner. Our next story is, am I the arsehole for telling my husband I regret having our children and telling my daughter I never wanted her? I, female 24, have 4 children. I had my first when I was 19. My children are 5 female, 3 female, 2 female and 1 male. All of our children have been planned, but it's always my husband pushing to have another. If he'd have let me, I would have stopped after our oldest. I never really wanted to be a mum, and I don't feel as though I connect with them very well. A few nights ago, I was putting my eldest daughter to sleep when she started asking me loads of questions. She's a really curious little girl. I had a traumatic birth with her and postnatal depression, so always struggled with bonding, and still do struggle with connecting with her. She told me she wants lots of babies when she's older, and then asked me how many I wanted when I was her age. I told her I didn't want any, and I didn't even want any when I had her. I know she's only 5, but she massively misinterpreted it and got upset. I comforted her and put her back to sleep. In the morning she must have told her father what had happened when he was making her breakfast, as I woke up to my husband absolutely furious with me for traumatising our daughter and damaging her self-esteem. I told him she'd be fine, but he kept shouting at me and telling me I was an awful mother. I replied that it's hard being a good mother to kids you regret having. He asked if I was being serious and said that I was being impulsive when I said that I didn't want them, and he knew that. He left the room absolutely furious with me and took the kids to his parents' house. Am I the arsehole? I'm going to read a couple of the comments here. Mealy30, your daughter didn't massively misinterpret what you said. You were incredibly inappropriate and hurtful to your small child. Your daughter, your 5-year-old who's your tender and your responsibility. You need to get help, get counselling, figure out how to address your issues before you hurt your kids any more than you are. And meantime, don't have any more until you want them. You're the arsehole. From Emmy Ravel 30, if the kid didn't interpret it in some way or other, she wouldn't be so upset. So yeah, 100% arsehole. If I were OP's partner, I'd be tempted to up and leave and raise them away from such a callous parenting. From Baby Love 33, same, I had 3 kids in 3 years, started when I was 19, and yeah, it's been hard, I get that. I would never tell my 6-year-old that I regret her, and I don't, even if things are hard sometimes. My husband and I occasionally joke that we could have stopped at 1, when the younger 2 act up, but if my husband ever seriously said what OP said, I would be pissed. Yeah, I guess sometimes parents make jokes about these sort of things, about like we should have stopped at 1 and all that kind of thing. And I totally get that, and that's absolutely fine. I mean, my parents used to tell me I was the last chance at a girl. And I get that. As I have 3 other brothers, so yeah, I totally get where they were coming from there. But the things this woman said to her daughter, man, a 5-year-old, how could you say that thing? How can you say that? I'm spotting some sort of mental issue here, but, you know, I'm no doctor. But what do you guys think about this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote in that top right-hand corner. Our next story is from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for not telling my dad I'm gay? So, I'm gay. I've come out to my parents when I was 14. My mum was distraught and my dad didn't seem to care. My mum was mad at me for over 2 months, but eventually came to terms with it. Though she does make passive-aggressive remarks, saying she can't wait for me to marry a girl and whatever, she still asks about my boyfriend from time to time, and she's still amicable towards me, so it's all good. My dad and I don't talk too often. Only when we work on things together do we really talk. He often makes comments on what traits are attractive in a girl, what kind of girls to marry, etc, etc. When I was 15, I told my dad in a sort of awkward way, "Dad, I'm dating Mike, he's been my boyfriend for 2 years," and he seemed to just brush it off and continue to talk about girls. And well, I didn't correct him going forward. Last night I told my mum me and Mike would be moving in together and we're probably going to get married soon. We're 23 and 23. I know it seems a bit early, but we've been dating each other for like 10 years now, and well, we still like each other, so that's probably a good sign. My mum was extremely upset, as although she still supported me, she still hoped that I'd change my mind and marry a girl. But again, she's not aggressively harsh towards me, and we're still on good terms, so it's not a big deal. My dad, however, apparently just found out I was gay. He was extremely upset with me and asked me why I didn't tell him sooner, so he could change my mind, or prepare for this. I sort of just told him, well, Dad, I did, twice, but he apparently had no memory of this. He was furious at me for not giving him time to prepare for the loss of his son, and well, I kind of expected this eventually. A lot earlier, honestly. Am I the arsehole for not pressing this matter earlier? I've been comfortable with my sexuality for a long time, and I guess I could have pressed in the fact as over the past 8 or so years. I've sort of been leading my dad on by not correcting him. Edit, hi everyone, didn't expect my post to get so much attention. For those asking why I even felt I was even close to being an arse, is because I felt like I owed it to my parents to make sure they knew the truth. And well, I didn't really do that. They come from a different time and different culture, so being gay was seen as something fundamentally wrong with the parent as well as the son, and I didn't feel like being a dick and making sure they knew their son was gay. Honestly, I never felt my mum was a problem because I've heard countless stories of how kids were being thrown out and cut off for being gay. I took a huge risk by telling my parents I was gay when I was younger. Honestly, I don't think I could do that again, and I felt so fortunate that my parents didn't disown me and still helped me through college. They have met my boyfriend, except he was just teaching me biology for a few months when we first started dating before they stopped him coming over because they said we were just playing video games. Since then, well, they've met like one time during summer when he picked me up to go somewhere and they wanted to be polite and say hi to my friend, but other than that, we've just sat down and formally talked about our relationship. Honestly, now that I'm typing this out, that does seem a bit weird, but I mean, that's just how life is. Going forward, well, I'm not really sure what's going to happen, but I'm pretty independent now, so it doesn't concern me too much. And to those congratulating me on my 10 years, thanks. We have broken up once or twice back in college, but it's been smooth sailing for the past 5 to 6 years. There's so many comments that I'd love to reply to, but I feel like making this edit should clarify a lot of the questions people have asked. Again, thank you for your support. I really didn't think this would get so much traction, but thanks for making me feel better. The OP has been with his boyfriend for 10 years. Those parents must be in some serious denial, man. I mean, come on. So many comments that the dad makes that makes me angry in this one, where he says, I have to prepare for losing my son. I mean, what the fuck, dude? Oh, and the other one where he says, to give me time to change your mind. I mean, what? Come on, people. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote in that top right hand corner. God, man. Our next story is from The Grunt Boy. Am I the arsehole for telling my dad he must have free time / money if he puts so much effort into his yard? This is a bit old and not very important anymore, but it really gets under my skin sometimes. I came from a family that worked too many hours, had chronic pain issues, never had money, and just had way too much responsibility in general. It was a constant source of friction. Even just spilling the drink would spark conflict, as it was just that much more to do. This passed over to me as I very quickly got a job that worked me to the bone and busted the fuck out of my feet within a year. Walking hurts. One of the things we did was the lawn. I hated doing that lawn. We had a modest amount of yard with thick, almost wild grass and a lot of roots and stuff. It took about 3 hours a week, and add on maintaining and working on the lawnmower, and it was just a project. I refuse to see it as anything else than busy work or a pet project. No one can see our lawn but us, and none of us spent any time outside. My dad just hated seeing it when he came home, so I just had to deal with having more work to do. Every time I brought it up, I got an answer I couldn't accept. It's Christian. It's the right thing to do. We just have to. One day my dad was talking about how we spent all day working on the lawnmower after it had gotten turned over and messed up. I said he must have had a lot of free time then to spend all day on something like that, and he acted like I just spat in his coffee. It led to another fight about the lawn, and really just ended with everyone bitter at each other. Am I the arsehole for bringing the lack of necessity up often enough and abrasively enough to start fights? Now again, there isn't too many comments on this one, but I couldn't see an age for this person. I couldn't see if they was a teenager, if they were younger than that. I'm assuming they're at least teenager. I think it's important to have chores, and the OP does comment below saying that they were frustrated that it was unnecessary work. And I don't think doing a lawn is unnecessary work, because surely it has to be done. And I think from what we've read some of our previous stories on different videos, that you can get ticketed in the US for these kind of things. If you let it grow too much and it becomes unsightly, I think you can get ticketed, but I'm not totally sure on that. You will have to let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to vote in that top right hand corner. Our next story is, am I the arsehole for saying I don't care about authentic Italian food? I like Domino's pizza and order it once a month. I know it's a bit expensive. I know it isn't very authentic. I know it isn't healthy. I also don't care. For me, it hits the spot and I enjoy it. My housemate and good friend's Italian girlfriend, every time I get Domino's, has to mention how it isn't actually good pizza or very Italian. Every single time. It also extends to when I make Italian food like pasta or spaghetti. We take turns to cook for the whole house, mentioning I didn't add this ingredient or use this process. I've asked her a couple of times to show me what I'm doing wrong, but stuff always seems to come up. Now, she's otherwise a pretty solid person, but I just find this behaviour incredibly rude. I ordered pizza again today, and she again commented about how it wasn't authentic. I had enough, and I told her I didn't give a fuck what was authentic or not, I just wanted to enjoy my Domino's. She told me, as an Italian, she had to say something when she saw bad Italian food, like pizza or my pasta. I told her that if I, as the son of Indians, could eat what she alleged to be chicken korma, it was sweet for some reason, and say nothing at the time, she could eat my pasta and stay silent. I'm aware that was perhaps a bit petty and rude, but to be honest, I'm pretty done with her inane comments. My roommate is annoyed at both of us, saying that we need to make up. But honestly, I'm still pretty annoyed with her. As I see it, the only harm I'm doing with my Domino's is to my waistline, but that has no bearing on her. A couple of comments from Oodles of Schmoodles. The American Italian food is the way it is because when the Italian immigrants came here, they had access to many of the ingredients that were not easy to come by at home, so they started using it in abundance. It is authentic, but it's authentic Italian American immigrant food. She can get off her high horse, not the arsehole. Followed up by Flower of Telperion, but also Jesus H tap dancing Christ. It's Domino's. No one is mistaking Domino's for authentic anything. It's cheap if you carry out. Pizza that is pretty tasty for what it costs. As Italian, she had to say something. LMAO what? No she didn't. There is no sacred oath that every person of Italian descent has to uphold regarding the preparation of pizza or pasta. She needs to sit all the way down and shut her entire damn mouth. Not only is she the arsehole, your roommate is an arsehole for inflicting her on you. Followed by Xenogenes. She's evidently an Italian that doesn't actually know what she's talking about, or should take an OP up on his offer to teach him. Seriously though, who actually considers Domino's to be Italian? Yeah, it's pizza, but some toppings on bread isn't something new, and pizza hasn't changed to the point where I can get one with a mayonnaise base. It's not exclusively Italian. I love how riled up people get when they start talking about pizza. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote in that top right hand corner. Anyway guys, thank you for being here today. If you did enjoy today's video, why not click one that's on your screen right now and maybe sit back and enjoy that one too. And don't forget to consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell. And I will see you in the next one. Much love guys.